Hi, I'm Teresa, and this is my channel, Homestead Life. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making some homemade chicken noodle soup. My granddaughter Alani isn't feeling well, so she requested that. I thought I'd bring you along on the journey. We're going to be using some of my home canned chicken broth, home canned chicken, home canned carrots, and then just some noodles that I have around. So why don't you join me over on the cooktop? Okay, we're gonna start by taking a stock pot that I have here on the stove, and we are going to open up our cans of chicken broth. I have 4 of these. The best way I found to open them is on this lovely can opener. There's a little jar opener on here, and you just kind of find one of the lids, the side of the lid, and lift it up. I'm gonna do that with 4 of these. And I jarred these up back in January. It is now September, January and February. So it's getting close to time to do another batch because I am running low. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour these into the stock pot. And there's some fat, that's what you're seeing at the top, that from the canning process. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of turn this onto a medium high, and I'm going to add 2 small containers of carrots, and we're gonna open them the same way. And I am not gonna drain them into the sink. I'm just gonna drain them into one of these jars over here. This was just water that it was cooked in, but I'm not wanting to add any more liquid in here. Let me get all the carrots that I can out. And the next one. There we go. Carrots. And next, we're going to do the chicken. Now the chicken that I canned up, this is what we call ugly chicken. So it was canned just putting raw chicken in here and in its own juices. So I'm fine using the juices that are in here. It's a little harder sometimes to find the right place to break the seal. And what I'm going to do is take and put the juices in our chicken, or our broth here. And then I'll get this chicken out and chop it up. Because they are chicken pieces, but they may not be as small as what I want for our soup. And I want a lot of extra chicken in this because she isn't feeling well and she's sick. That just helps. At least I think it does. My daughter is also sick, so that gives both of them the ability to have some soup. And I'm just going to plop the chicken out here. Some is white meat, some of this is white meat, some of it is dark meat. Doesn't really matter. And I'm gonna just chop it roughly on here. As you can see, it's kind of tender and falling apart. I just don't want any large pieces to be in there. So just kind of a rough chop. And I did wash my hands before I got started. Then we're gonna just put this in. Now I like to have my chicken soups a little thicker with ingredients. It's just more of a hearty soup rather than just a thin soup. So if you don't like as much chicken or vegetables, don't worry, you can use less. Now I'm going to do about a teaspoon of garlic powder. And this is a half teaspoon, so. And you can change up these flavors however you particularly like them. For instance, my granddaughter doesn't like anything spicy, so I won't be putting a lot of pepper. We've got onion powder. I'm just gonna put a teaspoon again of that. And I use powder, onion powder and garlic powder instead of garlic salt or onion salt, just because I don't want too much salt in here. Now you can use different, whatever seasonings you like. I like to use an Italian seasoning, and I'm again gonna put about a teaspoon in there. And then I put a little bit of parsley flakes in there. And this, I don't measure, I just kind of eyeball a little bit. And lastly, I'm gonna put 2 bay leaves. And that's just because these are a little bit older bay leaves, so they're not going to be as potent. If you had newer bay leaves or fresher, I would probably only use 1. Now we're gonna go ahead and bring this up to a boil, and I'm gonna stir this. Once this comes to a boil, that's when I'm going to add the noodles. I'll probably add just a little bit of salt and pepper as well at this point. Maybe a ½ teaspoon of each. Because again, chicken in itself is fairly salty at times. Where's the pepper? There we go. And that should be more than enough for the flavor. And let's go ahead and have that come up to a boil. One of the noodles that I like to use is a fettuccine noodle. Now I'm not gonna keep the fettuccine noodles whole. I'm gonna actually break those up. So I'm going to grab a bowl and do that while I am waiting for this to come up to a boil. And I just use a regular cereal size bowl. And what I do for the noodles is I break them off about the length of my thumb. So they're kind of smaller noodles, just like so. I don't want them too big. They're going to puff up a little bit, but I don't like them super big. Sometimes they'll be a little different sizes, and that's fine. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be uniform. Then you can also use other types of noodles. You can use fresh pasta if you wanted. You could use spiral or twisty pasta. I don't know why, I just always have liked using fettuccine noodles. Kind of is the right size, I think. And I do about ½ a box or so. I don't use the same amount all the time, and that's because sometimes, like my husband, he likes more noodles. So I might make, if I'm making a batch for him, then I'll put more noodles in than I would for like my granddaughter. That's about ½ a box. So I'm gonna go ahead and call that good. We're gonna wait till this comes up to a boil, and then we'll add our noodles and let it cook for a little bit. We'll be back once it's boiling. All right, we have boiling now. It's not at a rapid boil, but it's at a decent boil. One of the things that I like to do at this phase is I'm gonna take a spoon and I'm gonna kind of just, you know, take a little taste to see how we're tasting here. And it's tasting good, but I want a little more chickeny flavor just because this is for my granddaughter. So I'm gonna take a little bit of chicken bouillon, probably, a couple tablespoons here, just because I want to give it more of a chickeny flavor for her. I'm good with more of a basic flavor. That's gonna change the flavor just a bit. And this is when you would adjust the seasonings however you might want. The nice thing is that the chicken is cooked, the carrots are cooked, so you don't have to worry about those cooking down. Right as I'm getting done with this, I will take out the bay leaves. I've got another, yeah. I think we're probably good with that. Let me try this. This is a new spoon. Much better. I think I could use a little bit more salt, and I don't normally say that, but I didn't put a lot of salt in it before. The salt's almost gone, so I'm just gonna shake a little bit more in. And because she has a sore throat, the salt will help anyway. So if it's a little saltier, that's not gonna be the end of the world. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put in our bowl of noodles. And I'm going to let them cook, for about 10 to 12 minutes. And then we will taste it again and see where we're at. It's been a little bit over 15 minutes, and you'll see that the soup is boiling this whole entire time, and our noodles are done. We can keep them going for a little bit longer if we wanted to, and I am going to let them kind of sit here and cool down because I'm going to be transporting this soup to my daughter. I will be putting it in a Tupperware style container for travel purposes. This is not exactly a travel container, so we do want it to cool down a little bit. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out our 2 bay leaves. Where's the other one? It's hiding somewhere. There it is. Found it. Okay, 2 bay leaves. As you can see, these noodles look really good. I did end up adding the full package of noodles just because this is a large pot. Go ahead and taste this again just to make sure we're good. And that's perfect. So we have homemade chicken noodle soup. It didn't take but about 30 minutes to make, and my granddaughter's gonna love it. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon.